my channel, welcome back for a brand new video. Now in this video I'm going to be going through my June reading wrap up. I literally forgot what month we were in. I'm going to be going through my June reading wrap up, and I'm also going to go through the books that I'm going to be prioritising in July. So again, I'm not doing a TBR jar. I have kind of stopped doing that for the time being. I just want to mood read, but I'm going to give you a list of what's kind of on my radar for July, what my hopefuls are going to be. But let's start with the 7 books that I read in June. I had quite a fantasy heavy reading month, but I do also feel like 7 books with romantasy books that are like 500 or more pages. I think I did quite well to still read 7 books in the month of June, so I'm very happy with that. But anyway, let's dive straight in. Drop in the comments down below if you read any of these books, if you're planning to read them, or what your favourite book in June was. So starting off with Crownless by Liv Zander. This is the second book of the Heartstrings duet. I did read the first book at the end of June. It was so short, really interesting. I have seen so much about this on TikTok, this duet, and I do think it is a really good fast-paced bingeable duet. I don't think this is going to be for everyone. I also do think it's probably going to be more of like an autumn winter read rather than summer. It was not screaming summer. If I knew that going into that, I probably would not have picked it up and I would have saved it for autumn winter time. Also, if you're a Nocticadia fan and also Belladonna, I think you will absolutely devour this. So I rated this 4 stars. I did enjoy it. It was definitely, when I say Nocticadia, is because it basically follows a gravedigger's daughter. The gruesome descriptions that come with that, so with like the maggots and how they prepare the dead bodies, just bear that in mind as well if you're a bit squeamish. If you're a gothic girly and you quite like gruesome things, I think you should definitely pick this up. And it is definitely emotional. I can see why people are crying on the internet. It didn't make me cry. It's one of those books that makes you question your views on life, the dead, and it was the same with Belladonna in that aspect, because it just kind of shows you a beautiful way to see the beauty in aging and getting older and starting a family. Yeah, it was beautiful. I can definitely see why it pulls on people's heartstrings and why it's probably called the Heartstrings duet. So like I said, it follows a gravedigger's daughter. This kingdom is cursed. There's a plague going around and people are being unalived in this kingdom, and no one knows how this started, but they kind of look to the king to help them, and he's not really doing anything. Her father and brother also have this plague and rot, and they are rotting from the inside out. She obviously wants to do everything she can to protect her family. So when a stranger suddenly appears and says, I know a way that we can break this curse, she actually had no idea, and when this stranger explains it to her that there is a curse on the kingdom, she thinks he's crazy, and she says, you know what do I have to lose? Like, if this is gonna save my family, what do I have to lose? So the deal is that she has to come with him to the castle, marry the king, and then be unalived. So she has to put her blood on the crown to break this curse and make the king fall in love with her. Suspicious things happening, interesting characters. Like, you do not trust anyone. I don't trust her point of view because everyone's keeping secrets. Everyone feels really weird in this. Like, there's weird things going on. So I really enjoyed that. It does keep you on your toes. A lot of the plot points that were quite easy to guess for me, I did guess them, but it still was really fun them being revealed to me, so it didn't ruin it for me or take me out of the story. So I think that's also why I didn't really rate it as highly as I thought I would. I do also agree that the second book is better, but I still just enjoyed them the same amount, so it was still 4 stars for me. I think you should just go into it as blind as possible and have a vibes read. I then read a highly anticipated read of the year, which is Broken Dove by Danny Francis. I am a Silver Elite fangirl, okay? I really enjoyed that book. I can understand people's criticisms to an extent, but I think if you want to pick it up, switch your brain off, have a vibes read and a giggly fun time, obsessed. I loved it. It's dystopian, it's military. I would actually say it does feel more military than dystopian. We did get a little bit more of the dystopian aspect in this book. The magic in this is like kinetic, so a lot of it is like mind powers, like speaking to each other kinetically. I just found it really intriguing, and I really enjoyed where the second book took us. I just think it dived more into her background, where she came from, her relationship with Cross from the first book. And also, guys, this is not a spoiler, there's a love triangle in this, and it was honestly, in my opinion, done so right. I was having such a giggly fun time. There is someone that needs to be endgame though. I think the third book is going to be so fun. It's just so bingeable, so addicting. If you don't know what Silver Elite is, I'll describe the first book because obviously I don't want to give you spoilers for the second one. It follows our female main character, Ren Darlington. She has abilities where she can connect telepathically with people. So there's basically mods who have the telepathic sort of powers, and then there's the primes who are part of the military who are just like normal sort of soldiers, and then there's obviously like civilians who are just people who aren't even really involved in this, who just live in this world. So she is a mod. If you're modified and were affected and have these powers, then you are hunted down and unalived, or you're used. It all depends on how powerful you are, whether you can be enslaved or you're executed. Our female main character is one of those people that has a very dangerous power, and she will be executed on the spot if people found out about her power. She basically ends up going undercover in the Silver Elite military program, mainly not out of choice, but because Cross Redden, the commander of Silver Elite, forces her to, because he sees her shooting skills and wonders why she hasn't sort of joined the military and wants to use her skills. So he kind of sort of blackmails her into joining the military and working under him. So it's like trainer trainee, commander student. It's really fun, and that's where like the military aspect comes into this, because they do a lot of training together. Their banter and tension, it was so hot. Like, it was so hot and spicy, and I could not stop giggling and kicking my feet. Cross Redden is such an underrated book boyfriend. Like, I do think people need to talk about this more and rave about it more, even if it is just a vibes read. But yeah, so she's obviously training in this military program, and she is kind of like a double agent because she is also working for the uprising as well and going undercover for them and feeding back information to them. That's kind of all I can tell you without spoiling anything. It leaves on a cliffhanger. It picks right off where we left off. I really enjoyed the side characters in this. We got to see more of the world, of the other side of the war as well that's going on with the uprising. I just think if you haven't given the second book a shot, I do think you should still pick it up and see for yourself. I ended up rating this 4.5 stars. I then finished the Lady of Darkness series by Melissa K. Roerick. So this is Lady of Starfire. I absolutely devoured this. This has one of my new favourite book boyfriends in it, Razik. Like I've said before in my reading vlog of this, all I'm going to say about him is cave, possessive, treasure. That's all the clues I'm going to give you with that one, okay? I think the ending of this was absolutely fantastic. The last two books are my favourite out of the whole series. I rated this 4.5 stars. It was such a great ending. Didn't realise how emotionally connected to these characters I was until this last book. Like, it had me on the verge of tears. I love all the characters. This has got one of the most perfect found family plot lines. I just think it's such a really good romantasy series as a whole. Like, if you want everything to do with romantasy, to be taken on a journey, emotional turmoil, not perfect characters, but characters that learn from their mistakes and grow from them, court politics, elemental magics, fae, creatures. The only thing I will say about this series is sometimes they do talk about a lot of things and then like don't put action straight away. Sometimes we'll talk about the same things again and again, and I think that's what stopped me rating some of these books 5 stars. And that's the only criticism I could possibly have out of the series at all. That's all I'm gonna say. But otherwise, like, they're literally fantastic. I don't think I rated any of these books in this series below a 4 star. But the gist of this is, if you like Throne of Glass, you will love this. It follows a female assassin, Scarlet. She's brought up in the Black Syndicate, where she's ruled by an assassin lord, and he does not treat them well. So the orphans that he collects, he turns them into assassins, and that is who our female character is. It starts off with them not being on good terms. She's living with this aristocrat family. The assassin lord is trying to get her back to work for him, so he kind of comes to her and says, look, I'll give you answers about your mother's death if you can unalive this person, and you don't know who this person is. And then we meet our main character, who hasn't really been in this land for very long. He has a unique fighting style that our female main character wants to learn. They want to suss each other out, but they both have guards up so they don't let each other in. But it's one of like the most beautiful romances. It's just so deep and meaningful, and I think he's such an underrated book boyfriend. There's a lot of side characters in this as well that are underrated book boyfriends. Every single one of them I'm obsessed with, and I will not stop thinking about and raving about this series. If you haven't read it yet, please take this recommendation and read it. Melissa K. Rourke is now an auto-buy author for me as well. I then read A Court of Lies and Deceit by Marion Blackwood. Now, I read this on my Kindle. This has been a really fun series. The third book I rated 3.5 stars, which is the lowest book I've rated out of the series yet, but I still enjoyed myself. It's still so bingeable and easy to pick up, and I don't find myself like feeling like it's a chore to pick this book up. But I don't know what it was, I just wasn't as invested as I was in the first two books. I do enjoy where it took us in this story, and I do understand that we needed to end up where we needed to end up in the third book without giving anything away. There were more trials in this which were really good, and they were quite unique and fun and entertaining, and it was definitely more focused on the plot than the romance this time. But the way that book ended makes me really excited to still continue the series, because it's a completed series. There's 5 books out. Yeah, I think it's just like a really fun time. Like, if you want to switch your brain off, have a fun romancy read and just not take something too seriously, this would probably be the one that I'd recommend. It's also got a grumpy dragon shifter commander in this, so do with that information what you will. I then read another highly anticipated sequel. This is Wielder, so this is the second book to Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider. 5 stars. I haven't had a 5 stars in like a couple of months, so oh my god. I didn't know what to expect going into this book because a lot of the second books hadn't really been hitting for me, but I absolutely devoured this. And even though that we jump 4 years after how book 1 ended, I just felt like that made the tension of them seeing each other again just so much more entertaining. I was on the edge of my seat. She literally tells him to get on his knees. I literally tabbed everything that this man said. The mouth on that man. He does book boyfriend so right. I couldn't stop having a giggly fun time. I had to rate it 5 stars. This was glued to my hands from start to finish. I was literally like cooking my dinner while reading. I didn't speak to anyone. So the first book follows a female main character. Her kingdom has basically been banished from land, and now her people are living on the sea because there was a war that was going on and they didn't win it, so they got banished to the sea. They basically can go to this market every so often, and that's where the story starts off in Metal Slinger. She's going to this market with her friends. They end up getting into a bit of trouble with the other people on land. She draws attention to herself from this commander. She ends up running away. He ends up seeing something that she didn't want him to see, and they end up running away. He ends up following her to her land, getting arrested and forcing her to come back with him, but she doesn't want him to drown, so she kind of saves his life and they go back together, and he gives her answers on things that she's had questions on. I know this is a very vague explanation. If you like a journey, if you like an amazing plot twist that is going to have you absolutely gobsmacked, shapeshifters, a romance that is literally going to like break your heart because of how much they hate each other. Yeah, it was definitely giving enemies to lovers in this book, and I was so here for it. It is a duology, and I do like how this ended. It's still going to be in the story but following different characters, which will be really exciting. So we'll still be in this world by the looks of it, but we just won't be following the main characters of this book. And I do understand that she does sort of like jump certain timelines, but I actually didn't mind that because I still feel like we got the information that we needed. I also just like it is a duology. Sometimes I don't want to read like a 5-book series. Like, I just came out of a huge romancy series. It's quite nice just to have a duology, so I really didn't mind like some of the time jumps in here. It didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. I got all the information and answers that I needed. I felt tortured with the love interest in this. Like, they really put me through the ringer. It was so entertaining, so 5 stars. And then jumping on the enemies to lovers, done so right. 5 stars for Starside. Alex Aster knows how to write enemies to lovers. I have not been so entertained by a romancy book in so long. Like, back-to-back 5 stars was crazy for me. I think this really stands out for me as a whole, just because one, this is the first book in a series. They actually hate each other. Like, they do try to unalive each other in this and are not even sorry about it. Oh, and just the plot lines in this, the shock factors. If you want to see my reaction to reading this book, I do have a TikTok video of me absolutely losing my mind finishing this book. Cliffhanger at the end was diabolical, and I will be sending my therapy bill to Alex Aster because I need Stormside. Whatever she feeds us, I will be thankful for, because wow, I think she thrives in adult romance. romantasy, and I really hope she continues to write adult romantasy in the future, because if this is what she's coming up with, phenomenal. This follows our main character. In this world, it's a very unique concept with what sort of metal your sword is sort of how much power you have in this world. There's like bronze, silver, gold, like depending on the metal and your opponent's sword can really affect how the outcome of a battle is going to be. So if you're using bronze against silver, like silver's going to win and your sword is probably going to get smashed to pieces and you're going to be unalived. And it's not easy to claim a sword in this world. Right from the bat, it just dives you straight into a trial. She has to enter this like trial to the gods. At the end of this quest, you can get magic to then bring back to your kingdom to then help it thrive, because kingdom is set in half. There's Stormside and then there's Starside. So she's living on Stormside, which is where the mortals live, and then Starside is where all the gods live, with all the magic, and it's supposed to be very prosperous, whereas there is not a lot of magic in her land. It's only really saved for the people who have gone on this quest and come back with the magic, and they've kept it amongst themselves, so the rich and the powerful basically. She's taken it upon herself to go on this quest. She's not going there for the magic, she's going there for her own reasons. Male main character in this that is really scary. He's like working for the king. There's a lot of questions around him. No one knows what he looks like. He wears a mask, he has a black hood, and he's very intimidating. Like, he is so mean. If you want a mean MMC, she ends up claiming a sword. It's one of like the most powerful swords, and it's kind of the same as what Harlan Raker has, our male main character. They're kind of equally matched now, and so it's kind of put a target on her back with him as well, because people can claim that sword off of you. You have to unalive the person to be able to claim their sword, and she's just trying to survive these deadly trials and going through Starside. And this is full of fae who are trying to kill her, meddling gods, people who are a lot stronger than mortals and are trying to get in the way of their quest. It's just so fascinating. It was just non-stop, plot twist after plot twist, really detailed world building. There was creatures. It was just so easy to picture this world. Traveling through Starside was just so fun, and I cannot wait to see what the second book brings, because like I said, the way that book ended was diabolical. And if you want one recommendation coming away from this, read this book. This deserves all the hype that it gets online. And then to finish off June, I read Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinnerman. So I actually listened to this as an audiobook. I didn't actually read it. I thought this was so fun. This was very new for me. This is a lit RPG book, so it's like a role-playing game, and it's set up as like a game show, also an apocalypse, so the world is being taken over by aliens. It follows our main character Cole. He is looking after his ex-girlfriend's cat. She ends up jumping out the window one night. He goes out to save her, and then all of a sudden everything just drops underground. His neighbours are being unalived, buildings have just disappeared, people who were inside buildings are automatically unalived. So if you were outside, then you were safe. If you were inside, that's it, it's game over for you. Then all of a sudden this alien speaker comes on, tells you that they are taking over your planet and that you have to enter this 18 dungeon crawl to then basically try and earn your planet back. Again, there's still not really like loads of information around why they're doing this. They do this to a lot of other planets, and it's basically going to be intergalactically televised, so people are going to be watching you. So the more entertaining that you are with how you survive this 18 dungeon level crawl, then that means you can get benefits, packages, support throughout this game show. But obviously you're doing this against your will, and if you decide not to do this, then technically you don't really have a choice, because you're going to be living up on lands that is basically going to be like an apocalypse now, so you're already automatically unalived. So you might as well shoot your shot and go into the dungeon and try and survive it. It is very wacky, it is very entertaining. I would really highly recommend the audiobook for this. The narrator was absolutely amazing. He did the characters so well. There were so many characters, the way he would just switch up his voice for certain characters. It was absolutely phenomenal, and I rated it 4 stars. For something that was really out of my comfort zone and I thought I would never read, it makes me want to read things out of my comfort zone even more, and I can see why people are raving about this. And I can already tell that I'm going to be really emotionally connected to these characters towards the end. I mean, there's like 10 books out, and that's focusing on all the different levels. It is a real journey, and I do also think that if you're listening listening to the audiobook, it's not really something that you can kind of put on in the background and ignore, because there is a lot of information dump. It's all very relevant because a lot of these things might come up later in later levels and the further they go down in the dungeon, so you kind of do want to pay attention. Also, it's got such an iconic side character, Princess Donut. If you haven't heard of her, she is a cat who can literally shoot laser beams out of her eyes. There's literally llamas on crack in this. There's goblins who have got pineapples on sticks trying to unalive people, different creatures, rats who can talk. I mean, Princess Donut ends up starting to talk. She sounds so posh. It's really fun. Really enjoyed myself, so I'd highly recommend it if you haven't read it already. I can't wait to continue the series and see where we go. The first book concentrates on the first and second level of the dungeon, and then you go into the third one in the second book. There's different themes for each level. There's also now people who are kind of after them, like they kind of made friends and enemies now. It's definitely going to get interesting the more you read along. So those are all of the books that I read in June. I feel like July is going to be the complete opposite. I feel like I'm going to be focusing more on romance, but it is summer and I want some giggly fun time. So let's go through all the books that I'm now going to be planning to prioritize in July. Okay, so my camera died. I'm back now, so we can go through what I want to read in July. Starting off with Mile High by Liz Zander. I'm so excited to start the Windy City series. I have actually already read this book, but I thought I'm still gonna let you know, like, this is what I'm gonna be reading in July because it is July now and I have read it in July and finished it. I'm still counting it, okay? I feel like I'm probably gonna end up reading this whole series in July, but I'm only gonna add Mile High onto this because it is actually completely finished and I don't know where this month is gonna take me, and I do have other books on my radar. Next we have Kissed by the Gods by Katie Rogan. I haven't read this author's work before. I've seen everyone raving about this online and sorry, but look how stunning this book is. This has like winged war horses in it and I just thought that was really unique. I mean, look at that artwork. And then we have the back here of the horse. I'm really sorry. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's really bad lighting now. Every year the kingdoms demand boys for the mines. When Lena slaughters the soldiers who come for her brother, she expects death. Instead, she's claimed by a goddess and thrown into a world of winged horses, warring gods, cursed monsters. And Riot, the god sworn warrior, ordered to keep her in line. Bound by duty, shaped by discipline, Riot is everything she's not. But he sees the fire in her, the power, the danger. Lena never asked to be chosen, and she's certainly not interested in saving the kingdom that enslaved her people. But destiny is other plans and the gods should fear what they've awakened. So gods, war horses, a god sworn warrior as an MMC. Say no more. I've seen people rating this 5 stars, so I'm predicting a 5-star read in July. Next, sticking on the romance hype, we have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I am an Ali Hazelwood fan. I love her writing. I haven't read any of her romances before, but apparently this is where I should start. My friend read this. She absolutely raved about it. As soon as I texted her and showed her that I bought this book, she was like, you are gonna have the giggliest time. And obviously the film is coming out very soon, so I want to read it before the film and see what all the hype is about. I'm very excited. I mean, it's fake dating. I cannot wait to binge this and read Ali Hazelwood book again because I've only read Bride and Mate, which is her like paranormal romance series. I love her humour, so I just know that I'm gonna absolutely love this as well. Let me know if there's any other books of Ali Hazelwood that you love. I think I also might like Checkmate as well, only because I love chess. I love playing chess. I feel like I would really enjoy that one. Okay, so next we have To Bleed a Crystal Bloom by Sarah A. Parker. This series has been traditionally published and the third book actually is being published in July. I could possibly end up starting this in July and binging all 3 books. Maybe. We will see how much time I have, or at least starting the series, because it's not actually that big. Again, the artwork is stunning in this. I was going to save this for like autumn winter time, but I'm really excited to read it. This sounds like core politics and it's also dark romantasy. I don't know if this is going to be the vibe for July. I've got a dark romantasy thrown in here anyway, so I feel like I will try and pick this up as well. Okay, so going on to my audiobook for the month, because I quite like to pick an audiobook to listen to throughout the month while I'm sort of walking to work and all of these things. I'm going to try and listen to Butcher and Blackbird. It's part of the Ruinous Love trilogy by Bryn Weaver. I haven't read her work before. It's dark comedy romance, I believe. It's about 2 serial killers killers, but the audiobook just sounds so fun, and I've seen people raving about it and saying that the audiobook is really good. So I thought, let's try this, throw in a little comedy dark romance, because it's not too dark, it's not too heavy for a July like romancy read. I quite like the idea that they're both serial killers and they are unaliving people for their own sort of justice, if that makes sense. Like there's a reason behind them being serial unalivers. I just think it's gonna be fun. My friend also started this, recommended it, so I was like, yeah, okay, let's give it a go. Next we have a release that's coming out in the month and I would like to read it. So this is In Stormy Weather by Chelsea Curto. If you haven't read Chelsea Curto's work before, stop what you're doing and add it to your TBR. The DC Star series is everything to me, so yes, she is an author by author for me now, and In Stormy Weather is a new release of hers in a new series coming up. I don't know if it's going to be interconnected, if it's just a standalone. I'm going to read you the blurb because it's kind of giving, I really love Twisters, like the film. I grew up on that film when I was younger. It's actually criminal that I haven't watched the newer version of Twisters with Glenn Powell in it, because I just know I'm gonna love that film. Actually, do I watch it today? Anyway, I digress. It's kind of giving those vibes. It says rivals to lovers romance about a storm-chasing meteorologist during a hurricane season in Florida. Nothing can rain on Quincy Monroe's parade. She's a woman in STEM with a PhD in atmospheric sciences, the host of a successful online weather show, and has 1 million followers on her meteorology Instagram. Quincy has spent endless hours forging her path in this male-dominated field, becoming one of the best in the industry, and with a new job opportunity, nothing can derail her success, except for the ill-timed arrival of Sebastian Dunn. Sebastian is her best friend's brother. Love, oh my god, yes, her long-suffering academic and professional rival, and a flashy TV weatherman from New York City that everyone swoons over. Everyone but Quincy. Over a scorching Florida summer and record-breaking hurricane season, Sebastian and Quincy are forced into close proximity. Setting aside their grudges to chase storms and stay alive is one thing, but can they weather an inevitable collision of their hearts? I want a giggly fun time, and Chelsea Curto knows how to write strong women in dominated male fields, so I'm so excited for this. Okay, so next we have The Winged Game by Sophie Kim. This is a new release and it sounds so intriguing. I think people are relating it to Quidditch from Harry Potter. I think it's only because they're like on flying beasts. It's romantasy sports romance. I mean, I've never seen this done before and it's so intriguing that I feel like I have to read it. So it says the disgraced star of a brutal magical sport must team up with the rival who destroyed her career. Fake dating, winged beasts, sports romance times romancy. Say no more. That is all I needed to know. And lastly, this is also a new release that is coming out on the 22nd of July. This is Who Hears the Water Call by Sophia St. Germain. Is this the same author who wrote A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly? So the cover looks absolutely stunning for one. This is also Viking romancy and I am a sucker for Viking romancy. A Viking heir must attend the King's brutal war academy before she is sent to conquer the world. Envara Swingard was brought up to do one thing, marry someone of equal rank to further her family's rule. But when the ships in their village go quiet and magic vanishes, the unthinkable is confirmed. Her father and brother have been slaughtered on their way to the Herd, the King's elite war academy, where her brother was to claim his mantle as the next chieftain. Elvira is now the only thing standing between her people and extinction. She must take her brother's empty seat at the academy and earn a rune from the gods to restore the magic they lost, but first she must survive both the ruthless trials of the Herd and the other initiates vying for her place, all without her family's tragedy being revealed. As the trials begin, she soon learns that they are not the only dangers she faces. Enemies lurk both inside and outside the realm, something that becomes far more complicated when the battle bond meant to tie her to her childhood guard is compromised, as she instead finds herself tethered to a 6'5" Viking warrior who would sooner put an axe through her heart than see a crown on her head. So a Viking academy, her family have been unalived and she has to keep it under wraps, and then also like trials and initiation. People are after her and now she has like some sort of Viking bodyguard that doesn't want her to wear a crown. So that is also on my radar for July. I would love to know what's on your radar for July. Are there any new releases that you're excited for? That's all the books that I read in June and everything that I'm planning to read in July. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed and I'll see you again for another video.